Hi, my name is Sherry Eckersley, and I'm going to show you how to set up and process Sage 100 payroll for the Washington Cares Fund tax that goes into effect starting July 1st, 2023. I will not be educating you on the purpose of the tax or the benefits. I'm starting out on the DSD website, which you can access through www.dsdinc.com, and once you go there, you can choose blog up at the top here. And if you search in here, you can search for Washington Cares Fund, and that will bring up this screen here. So some of this information, so we have some of the information, and we also have links to the actual state site. We'll look at that in a second. So again, it talks about it going into effect July 1st. What the fund is, some of the private insurance exemptions, those have changed. So they've added a few since this was originally going to go into effect January 1st, January 1st, 2022, and then it got pushed out. And so again, some of these new exemption categories are listed down below. And also on here are some additional resources, including a recording that the state put on to maybe answer some of your additional, more detailed questions about the fund. And in addition, there are some links down below to the actual state site. We're going to use one of those to go to exemptions. So once we've chosen this, it is taking us to the actual Washington site. So that is wacaresfund.wa.gov to get to that site. So we are looking at the exemptions area, the exemptions for, again, the tax is going to affect July 1st. So for them to have applied and not have the tax taken out starting July 1st, they would have had to apply by June 1st. And again, when we scroll down here, here are some of the details of the new exemptions, how they apply for the exemption, if their exemption's approved. And I'm going to scroll up on here and take a look at the employer information. So the employer information on here, so the collecting of the premiums, again, begins July 1st, 2023, and it is going to be reported under the same reporting as the Washington paid leave. And regarding calculating the premiums, the premium is 0.58% of an employee's gross wages. And so, and it's an employee-only tax. Here's a calculator so quick calculation on that. It notes down here that unlike the paid leave, the contributions are not capped at a taxable maximum for Social Security. There is no cap on this. In addition, tracking the employee exemptions. So if they are eligible for the exemption and they have applied to the Employment Security Department, they will have received an approval letter from Employment Security, and they need to provide you as the employer a copy of that. And so you must keep a copy of that on file, and then not to deduct the Washington Cares premiums for those exempt workers. So from here, we're going to go into Sage 100 so we can look at how the tax is set up. And we're going to start with the tax profile maintenance. So under here, let's bring that up. So I have created a couple tax profiles in here. The first one is I created this for demo purposes only for your organization. You would use your existing tax profile or profiles that you use for your Washington employees. So I labeled mine Washington Cares Fund, And you'll notice down at the bottom right, the last box under the Washington section of the group tax group details is Washington Cares Fund tax withholding. So I have that box checked so that the tax will come out. The rates and limits button brings up the actual rates. Again, this taxes goes into effect July 1st, so you need to put in any date after July 1st, 2023. And you'll see down at the bottom, the last sign is Washington Cares Funds tax withholding, showing the 0.58% and no limit for this tax. In addition, I have set up another tax profile for my exempt employees. Again, all those rules apply for them to be exempt. So for this tax profile, the only difference is that the Washington Cares Fund tax withholding box is not checked. So the tax will not be taken out for these employees, and there's no taxable wages accumulated. From here, we're going to look at the company tax group setup, which is another setup area for this. So under that, we bring up our tax group for Washington, and we go to the additional tab. And there's a new field in here labeled Washington Cares Fund tax withholding. So you need to either set up a new general ledger account or use an existing liability account for this. And again, I've got that filled in. The tax rates tab, there'll be no special tax rate in here because this is only used when the rate varies by employer. And this rate is the same. Again, it's an employee-only tax, and it's the same for all employees who are eligible, so no changes in that. Now we're going to take a look at employee maintenance. So now that I've created those tax profiles, I have created a couple of employees in here. So my first one, if we look at their taxes, this one has the Washington Cares Fund. So that tax profile, this employee is going to have the tax taken out. And I have a second employee that is exempt. So again, my tax profile for the fund exempt, I've got that box in the tax profile unchecked. We're going to go ahead, and I've started payroll data entry, so we'll go ahead and bring that up so that we can take a look at the data that I have in here. So I've entered just those two employees. So the first one, if we take a look at the lines, I have brought the tax profile code. I brought that up from the secondary screen up to the primary just to show you that this is the one that has the tax profile for the CARES Fund. They are going to have the tax taken. And then my second employee is the exempt. So no tax will be taken for this employee. And so just the normal processing, we'll go ahead and we will process the taxes. So do tax calculation. And again, for any of this to show up that I'm showing you, if you don't keep up with updating your tax files when you're prompted within payroll, you need to be doing that to be able to see if you're not seeing some of these fields. But you need to make sure you're up to date on that. So we'll print the payroll data entry audit report. So I have previously created another one with some notes on it that's going to make it a little clearer. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that one up at this point. So this one I've highlighted some different information. Again, we've got the two employees. The first one is eligible for the Washington Cares Fund tax. So again, their tax profile code showing in there. And then they've got the line for the Washington Cares Fund tax withholding. And it calculated $8.99 by multiplying their gross wages, $1,550, by the 0.58%, so 0.0058 to come up with that dollar amount. Down below is my second employee that has the exemption, and so you are not seeing any tax calculated for them. And as a reminder that they provided you as the employer with a copy of their approval letter from the Washington Employment Security Department for that exemption. So we'll go ahead and close out of here. We'll also take a quick look at the employer's tax summary. And let's preview that. Just another reminder, this is an employee-only tax, so we're not going to see anything in the employer's taxes. But if we go ahead and look at the last page, the deposit liability, you will see under the state tax liabilities, you'll see the Washington Cares Fund tax withholding, and again, then $8.99 for that, our one employee. Next step, we're going to go ahead and show the information on the check. So, and again, this would show up on the check or the direct deposit stub if you're doing direct deposits. So, go ahead and just preview it so you could see that first of all. Again, we're looking at the one employee that has the tax that I have. You're going to see a line on the stub for Washington Cares Fund with the amount. So that will be a new line. Again, second employee, we don't see any of that. They are exempt for that tax. Let me just print that so we can go forward and post. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our check register. And let me bring that over. So the check register, you're going to see that amount showing up within the other taxes. So again, we've got that's accumulated, a total amount in there. So it's including things like the paid family medical leave and some of those others. So you're not just going to see that $8.99 standing out in that. So we'll go ahead and update at this point and print the daily transaction register. Let's go ahead and preview that so you can see that. And again, as a reminder, I set up a special general ledger account number when we looked at the setup, my 225-0300. So that's where you're seeing the $8.99 posted. So for that liability account, and then we'll go ahead and update that information. So that's the full payroll part of this. The last information I want to show you, now that the checks have been posted, is the detail of the Washington Cares Fund tax and employee maintenance. So let's take a look at employee maintenance for our employee that has the tax. And so to get to that, I'm going to go to, under the More button, we're going to go to Tax Summary. And this is a Washington tax. And we're posting this in Q3 because it starts in July. And then let's go to the detail. So under the More button in Detail. And for July, so again, up to here, it's an employee tax. Let's look at that for the July, and then we'll drill into that. A few steps on this. And then, so we've got our July 20th. Let's drill down into that, our last step. So here you are seeing the Washington Cares Fund tax withholding. You're seeing the wages on that and the tax. So how that's flowing through. And this information, again, will flow through to your Atrix report, your quarterly report, which is the same as your Washington PFML, the Paid Family Medical Leave form in Atrix. So the form and the filing will be, the form will be available in late September, early October 2023 for that. So This should be all the information you need to successfully set up your Washington employees and process payrolls for employees who are eligible and for those who are exempt from the Washington CARES Fund tax. Thank you.